Hi everyone. No major news and markets continue to grind, so let's get straight into the charts and data. Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started. So fear and greed stepped up another 2 points here, continuing to grind towards that overbought condition in extreme fear. Based on this trend, 2 points a day is going to get us there within the next week and a half or so. So still being patient, definitely taking its sweet time. Momentum back into regular greed. Strength, still extreme greed. Breadth, still extreme greed. Put call ratio into greed here. This was neutral yesterday, so another metric into that greed category. Volatility dipping, still neutral. And then you got safe haven demand. Equities starting to outperform over the last 20 days. Seems to be headed towards that 5% range. Once it starts to get into this range, that's definitely overbought. You can see this last move here, but it is still trending higher in the short term. Junk bonds have not moved for what seems like forever, going all the way back to mid-August. Moving over to seasonality, remember this is a seasonally bearish week. We haven't really seen that this week so far, but understand the low of the month is supposed to be around the 27th, either the 10th or the 27th, so a couple of days here until we hit that period. Our market's going to roll over, really haven't seen that quite yet. Moving over to the economic calendar, really nothing for today. New home sales did a little better than expectations at 716,000 versus 699. Previous number also revised up, so good numbers for new home sales. And now we got tomorrow with the core durable goods, core PCE, headline durable goods, as well as GDP numbers, some Fed speakers, quite a bit of data, as well as Janet Yellen speaking. So lots of stuff coming out tomorrow. And then for the Friday session, we do have core PCE price index, as well as the headline numbers. Those are all expected to be flat on the month over month, so need those numbers to stay if we're going to get that next cut, which is about 6 weeks away. Moving over to the S&Ps here on the daily chart, you can see we did actually have a slightly negative day, 0.19, engulfed the previous day. I was looking for a little bit of continuation off of this kind of ramp we saw over the 2 days from Monday into Tuesday, but today we gave it all back, tested the trend, still grinding on this trend line. At this point, it can still go either direction. If it holds the trend, we could get a big swing. Right now it's grinding price action. If the trend breaks, we're probably headed back down to the 56.86 area. Momentum stepping down, we expected that, but is it going to take price with it? Definitely remains to be seen. We're still holding support. And then looking into those short time frames here, you can see slow grinding price action, broke the 21, broke the 9 here on the hourly, held that 55 EMA, which is currently sitting at 569.81. If that zone holds, we're okay. But right now it looks like it tried to go higher, gave some of that back, ramping a little bit after hours, nothing crazy. So still in this consolidation, slow grinding price action. Right now you'd argue it's slightly bullish, even though we had a slightly bearish day today. And then looking at the Tasty charts here, you can see these ATR bands are consolidating at this point. They are contracting, pulling in here. We're still in bullish conditions. We did get below that 8 EMA just for a moment. That is still at 570.44 and current price is 569.69. So we're below that level. On a closing basis, after hours, 570.48, so we're just barely above it, right on top of it really. Again, slow grinding price action, momentum fading. Doesn't mean that we can't resume it here. You can see grinding price action here, fake out, dip low, consolidation, resumption. So we can absolutely see it go higher again, but look at this volume, not doing much of anything. Price action, not doing much of anything. Seems to me like this is going to roll over, but we do need to see some of those levels start to break. Moving over to the NASDAQ here, you can see positive 0.14, momentum stepping down just like the SPY, RSI still good. Everything looks like it's going to continue. We also threw a wick up to a new relative high, so that's good as well. Still looking for this gap fill back to the 16th. Trend line sitting up here around 20,540. I don't know if we're going to get that strong of a push, but I still expect this to kind of continue higher here even after the slow grinding price action. And then looking at the shorter time frames to look at those levels here, we got 486.84 right there, hit that level pre-market, open of the session, overthrew it, pulled back, hit the 21. Now we're back above it after hours by a couple of cents there, so everything continues to look good. This looks better than the SPY, grinding price action. Still very slow. The day was only a 0.09. If you include the after hours price action, that was about another 0.2 to 0.3%, so that's pretty good. If you include the after hours move, need the to hold that price action. That's being pushed up by Micron and their earnings, which were very good. So seems like the NASDAQ is set to outperform here a little bit. My next level is up at 492. If this level breaks, you can see that level up here. That's the next zone if we get that stronger push. And then looking at the Tasty charts here, you can see above that 8 EMA pretty much the whole session, 485.55. Again, you can see those ATR bands kind of contracting here, so the momentum in either direction is not great. Did get some decent volume. Again, good pop with the Micron move. ATR band to the upside is 488.76. See if we can get that push over the next day or two. And right now it still looks quite a bit better than the SPY. Moving over to the Russell and the Dow. The Russell had a pretty terrible day, 1.56%. Momentum continuing to roll to bearish here. It's right at the trend. Need that trend to hold. That is at 217.52, critical zone here. Almost touched it, caught a little bit of a bounce after hours. We're right there. Momentum, like I said, stepping down, RSI stepping down. So critical zone here. If this breaks, it's probably going to go pretty strong. Got some EMAs that could hold in there. 215.42 is the next level. If that breaks, 212.10 is my next level after that. So looking to see what happens there. And then looking at the Dow, big down candle there as well, 0.71. Took out this trend, touched the 9 EMA. Momentum stepping down, RSI stepping down. So seems like these could be forecasting a little bit, but so far the SPY and the NASDAQ have held up quite well. Moving over to stocks that continue to move here. We've been talking about Micron and Intel for a while. We saw this kind of ramping. The price action said bullish, and then you can see that candle after hours, 14.29%. Huge momentum, huge RSI, super overbought. It's going to probably touch that 144 EMA at 110.19. We're also right at the highs back here from mid-August, so that's a very powerful move. We'll see if it can have some continuation off of that earnings. Wouldn't shock me if it did. And then looking at Intel, pushing close to that price target, 55 EMA at 24.24. High of day was 24.06, so very, very close. Another pretty strong day, 3.2%. Momentum bullish, RSI bullish. Might have a little bit more in it. Moving over to Apple and Microsoft. Apple down 0.44, still holding the level. 224.36 was the support. Touched that level here today. Caught a little bit of a bounce. Still in a bearish thesis based off this big down candle on Friday the 20th. Huge volume on that candle. So seems like people are still moving out of Apple. We've been grinding slowly lower since then. You could argue consolidation, but slightly bearish for me. And then looking at Microsoft, didn't like this going into the day. Caught a little bit of a bounce back up from that 429.88 level. Once it got above that, you could have been a little bit bullish, testing that 9 EMA there at 432.96. If the 9 breaks, 440 is right there as your next level, but momentum still fading, RSI still fading. So like I said, could go either direction. Above 429.88 is bullish, below it bearish. Moving over to Tesla and NVIDIA, we've been bullish on these. Tesla got another 1% up, broke the level on a closing basis, so it's probably headed to 264.68, which would give it about another $7 or so of potential upside. So this continues to look good. I think it's going to go momentum bullish, RSI bullish. NVIDIA going as well today, 2.18%, hit the price target, 124.69. Now we're going to see what happens there. After hours, catching a little bit of a sympathy move from Micron, so that's good. If this level breaks, 130 is your next one, and then let's go ahead and extend out that trend line here. Right about there, and that trend line would be up around 133, so some levels to work with. Right now it's at resistance. Momentum bullish, RSI bullish. Moving over to Amazon and Alphabet. Amazon pulling back 0.74%, momentum rolling down, RSI rolling down. Still very much an uptrend. Could be something like this where you get 1 to 2 days of downside. Hit the 9 EMA sitting there around 189.61 or so, right in here. Looking for a touch of that, then we'll see if we get continuation or a breakthrough. Right in line with my 188.61 level. Just below that, I have my 188.61 level, so right in there as a zone of support. Waiting to see if that holds. And then you got Google. We talked about this. We think it's going to pull back. Think we're going to break this level here. We got another down day, 0.41, momentum rolling down, RSI rolling down. It could hold the SMA on the test, but in the short term, this looks bearish. Got a consolidation of EMAs and SMAs here at 159.59. Moving over to staples and discretionaries, we got staples pulling back again, 0.25. We're still above the level 82.53, but we're below those short-term EMAs still. Momentum bearish, RSI bearish. We're still holding in this zone. It really hasn't broken down majorly yet. I still think it will. I think we'll probably push down to this trend line here here, at least around 86, 81.60 or so. And then looking at discretionaries, inside candle 0.36 to the downside, momentum stepping down. We hit the price target yesterday. I called it a touch at 200.53. We'll see if it continues here. We've had some kind of steps back before on this run, but it's very extended. It hit 71.39 on the RSI yesterday, and we are starting to see some cracks across some of these major stocks. Moving over to oil and gas and transports. Oil and gas cratered here today. We were being patient at this consolidation here. Momentum stepped down yesterday, got the continuation lower here today. Waiting to see if we hold down around that 128 area here. I do think we're going to fall a little bit more, another $3 to $4 or so into this zone here. Momentum's not great. This could pull back all the way back to this double bottom around that 124.13 area. See how it plays. Made some money here, being patient, waiting for another continuation to the upside. I think it will. I think overall we are extended to the downside, but being patient, 2 big down days in a row. And then looking at transports, inside candle here after the powerful day up yesterday, 2%. Still holding support, momentum kind of choppy. This kind of looks like consolidation now with that big inside candle, but we'll see how it plays. As long as 67.85 holds, we're still in good shape to see that 69.29 level get touched one more time, the same level we saw on Thursday of last week. Moving over to RIOT and Marathon, these are still holding this pattern here. The momentum is still building. I still think we're going to see that swing up. We got another test here on Marathon, ended up rejecting back to this consolidation. As long as this consolidation here holds around that 15.8 up to 16 level in here, we're in good shape. Still looks like a push-up consolidation, looking for that second push-up. Couldn't hold it here today, but I still think it's going to go. Moving over to Breadth, interesting move here. Market Breadth taking a big move down. 14.14 here on 20-day, 6.79 here on 50. Momentum stepping down big, so definitely looks like we could see a little bit more continuation to the downside tomorrow. The NASDAQ still looks okay, but everything else is showing some bearishness, and you can see momentum confirming some down move here behind the scenes, even though price action did not support it quite yet. So something to watch for. If we start to see that bigger down move, there is some underlying movement already. Moving over to the dollar. Dollar caught a big bounce here today. Thought we were going to drift lower and touch this trend line here. Ended up finding a bottom here relatively higher than that trend line. Pushed right down to this big wick low we saw on Wednesday of last week. And then you can see very powerful candles right back into the middle of this consolidation. Looks like a reversal legs here. Still buyers in this area around 100.55. Momentum stepping back to bullish. RSI stepping back to bullish. I think this could catch a little bit of a bounce, especially with the data we're looking at tomorrow and Friday. Moving over to bonds, these continue to kind of grind slowly lower. 9 EMA there on JNK at 97.45, waiting to see if that holds. This still looks like a bit of a bull flag to me. Big push up, slow grinding, price action to the 9. Momentum's bearish, RSI's rolling to bearish, waiting to see if this kind of culminates here, but critical zone there, waiting to see. And then looking at TLT, finally pushed close to that trend line here, looking for support around 97.74, might break and push to the 55 EMA. It's been a bit of a run. This is kind of forming a little bit of a left shoulder head, right shoulder maybe. And if that happens, you should expect a little bit more down move here, another continuation up, maybe back into the 100 area, and then maybe we see some sideways consolidation, dip lower towards that 200. It's been a strong move, a little bit of pullback in time. Doesn't look as strong if we don't bounce off of this trend line here. Moving over to the VIX. The VIX caught a little bit of a bounce, 0.13 at the 144 EMA at 1534. Staying elevated here, still above these previous lows. Momentum basically flat here, 0.33 to 0.34. If we get a little bit of a step up, we could start to see that momentum roll to the upside, something like this, where you get a little bit of consolidation, some jumpiness, and then a bigger spike. So something like that could be coming in here at this level. This was the zone we were looking for, between 14.7 and that 144 EMA, and it seems like that zone is starting to hold, at least in the short term. Moving over to my accounts, I was basically flat on the day. You can see Roth IRA down a little bit with the IWM falling. Did roll down and into 218 for tomorrow's session for $1.38. That's basically flat here after hours. It was at 72, up just a few cents after hours, so basically right at the money there. Looking to collect about another dollar potentially in tomorrow's session, and then looking at the Qs, rolled out to Friday at 486 for $3.67 credit. This is definitely up after hours here. You can see almost $2 after hours, so that's going to be a good trade, I think. Max profit there is going to be 489.67. So I have about another $2.50 of potential upside there times 2, so around $500 profit hopefully for the end of the week. We'll see how that plays, especially if markets start to fall off. Micron is not going to be able to hold up the NASDAQ, so something to consider there. And I might actually take off this IWM position if it starts to look pretty bad in tomorrow's session. Let me know down in the comments section what you think of markets. Is breadth going to start to pull markets lower, or can we continue this slow grinding price action? Definitely let me know. Otherwise, like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.